Smile's still there, I think, isn't it, from Saturday? Has it faded at all?
Well, it should be from the last couple of months. The results have been quite incredible, and not more so than Saturday, given the conditions.
I mean, the conditions were awful, weren't they? I mean, it must have worried both managers, you and he, when it started, because the game could have been a lottery.
Yes, and it was to a certain degree, because it was very difficult to get the ball down and play. And with the wind having such an effect, balls running out of play. I've never seen so many balls go over the stand as well. I think we lost a fair few on Saturday.
A couple of amazing things happened to me personally on Saturday, because I was at a non-league game. Your team were playing, I was watching a game, and every so often people jumped up and I thought, well, why are they jumping up? And it was because they were getting by computer or otherwise on the wristwatches or whatever, scores at the One Call Stadium. And that was just quite amazing. And before the game was over, your game finished before the one I was at, people were cheering. And there was 150 at that game, and they were cheering.
That's great. I think you don't get many opportunities to break records as well, club records. This one had been in place 30 years, so it's an awful long time. We desperately wanted to beat it. Having equalled it at Barrow last week, we thought, right, we've got a good chance here. And I said to the players, that might never be beaten for another 30, 40, 50 years. You never know. So it was a special day, another 3 points, but a special day when you break a record.
It could be beaten this. It could be beaten Tuesday night, couldn't it?
Well, we could extend it. That's the thing,
Yeah.
and that's the aim now, to try and extend it by another game.
I said there were two things that happened for me. I'm being personal in this. The other was, when the game was over, my phone kept going off, and three people who don't actually talk the same language almost had rung me. One was the MP for Ashfield, who said, I'm a big Stags fan, this is absolutely brilliant. And on the line, trying to get through at the same time, so I took his call, was the mayor, who was actually at your game. And he was saying, I am so excited. He said, there'll be more people with smiling faces going into work on Monday than on any other day so far this year.
That's great. That's great for productivity and things like that. We're just after the 3 points. Any benefits that anybody gets from that in the town is wonderful. But to say we're just going for the 3 points, and to have the last 16 games and not one draw as well, to win 14 out of 16, but not a draw, as you all know, is highly unusual in football.
That changing room must be absolutely buzzing. The emotions in there.
Yeah.
A lot of hugging when games are over.
Yeah, a lot of hugging on the pitch after the game. You can see that because our initial celebrations are with everybody else, because the vast majority of the crowd stay and join in those celebrations. And then obviously when you get back in the changing room, it's a sense of another job done, another 3 points. But also I hope there's a steely determination then to say, right, we've got another one on Tuesday. This one's gone now. Even at 5 o'clock, it's finished. We enjoy it. Right, let's look forward to Tuesday.
Now, moving on from things, and perhaps a little back first of all, Harry Charlesley, you must have been a little disappointed to let him go away.
Yeah, it was such a difficult one, as tough a decision as we've had, because he came and see us a couple of weeks ago, and he's only started 10 league games this season, 25, 26, and just said, I'm out of contract in the summer. Could I look at an option maybe of going on loan and playing some games? And we said, well, we'll think about it. We'll see how we are injury-wise and numbers. He's such an honest, genuine lad. It was one of those cases where, to be very, very selfish, we could have said, well, stay around, be part of what we're trying to do, and you might get on for sort of 20 minutes, half an hour here, you might get a couple of starts. But sometimes you've got to be fair, and it would have been keeping an unhappy player. And one that is as genuine as he is, we didn't want to do. So I think fair all round, we got a reasonable offer from Port Vale on a permanent, and we gave him the choice. But he goes with our very best wishes. It's been an absolute pleasure to work with for the last 12 months or so.
A great tribute to him. Now, what about the three players that effectively you brought in last week? Because James Birch was like a new signing, wasn't he?
He was, and to get him on the pitch was just brilliant. And so I had to make the point afterwards, it wasn't sentimental, it was we needed somebody just to sit in front of the back four, because Orient had a very good last 10 or 15 minutes and they hit the bar, had a couple of chances, and I think we've seen in the games yesterday at Derby, you 2-0 down with 87, 88 minutes, you get one back and anything happens. And even with that 2-0 lead, we knew that was a possibility. So we stuck him in there just to shore things up. But the other reason we put him on was for the crowd, because we knew that we're under the cosh a little bit and it would lift the crowd for the last 5 minutes or so. and I think just behind the goals, it was the biggest cheer of the day.
It was the biggest cheer of the day. I've been told that by so many people.
Yep.
So you're even using the crowd, and let me put this in a nice way, manipulating the crowd to spur the players at the right moment.
I don't like the word manipulating. We're
But
doing it for the benefit of the crowd and for us to lift them. You know, everyone's a little bit when you have these runs. You know, we're not under the cosh, but they had created chances and say they'd hit the bar. So we just thought, right, if we just put him on, say more than anything, team-wise, it would just show us up. And then the lift that everybody then got for the last few minutes in the crowd and in the stadium was important.
All the pieces of the jigsaw are nearly there as far as players are concerned. We're still talking on a transfer deadline day as we speak at this moment. You said I'm fairly busy, Tony. I don't want to be kept by you all day. Are you waiting to talk to somebody?
We are, but I'd say that anyway. No, there's possibility of another one or two ins and outs. So we'll see how it goes. But certain things would have to fall into place.
Can you give an idea of the area that you're looking at?
No. It's there's a couple at the moment possibilities for coming in, and one or two possibilities for going out. We're still not sure the situation with Richard Narty, so we'll find out a bit more later.
Is it a lot of jockeying on this last day? You know, people just trying to get one over the last minute. Not talking about players, talking about clubs.
Yeah, it is. But I don't think we're indifferent. Certain things have to happen. Maybe one has to go before one comes in, so you wait on that one. So you try and put certain things into place, but they might not come off. So it's a case of that. A lot of talking, a lot of ifs and buts and maybes, and we'll see what happens come 11 o'clock tonight.